And it's on.
Okay. Welcome to the Galaxy Brain Podcast, episode 8, I believe we are on, and today we have another guest. So, introduce yourself,
Hi,
or we'll force you to.
I'm Nano.
Yeah, that works.
Okay. You do speak from State Farm.
What?
You do, Jake from State Farm.
Uh,
I don't get it.
Does not know how to answer.
yeah, I'm sorry.
No Galaxy Brain moments here.
Oh, let's see. What's happened in the past week? I wanted to talk about Billy Mitchell case. Basically, everything changed within the span of a week. So currently, what has happened is arcade cheater Billy Mitchell has filed a lawsuit against Apollo Legend. And I mean, maybe he could do a suit on me if he really wanted to for me calling him a cheater, but I doubt he's gonna do that.
Hope he's gonna see us, you know,
Yeah.
with our 5 views.
I mean, he really does just file lawsuits against literally anyone he can, but well, anyway, it seems like Apollo Legend raised $20,000 for his lawsuit. He only needed $10,000, and he was able to handle the rest of the costs out of pocket. But now he's considering canceling the lawsuit because he's seeking other legal opinions to see if he has a case or not. I assume only reason he might not have a case against Billy would be because of specific things he has said that might be, like, technically, I guess, defamatory. Making absolute statements that he cheated or deliberately did something bad. And there isn't absolute certainty. I think I think at least within the realm of like Guinness and galaxies, we can consider Billy Mitchell cheater, because there's just no reliable way to verify his scores. He keeps trying to push the most unreliable way score verification as reasons why he's not a cheater. So I think I should just give a little bit of a introduction. Yeah. Let's see, my introduction. Billy Mitchell is basically the dude who got allegedly the first perfect Pac-Man and the first highest score on Donkey Kong. There was an entire documentary about that, the King of Kong and whatnot. And yeah, that's basically about it. Basically, his scores were under dispute, and many people have contested them. Really only were contested and removed once popular videos, particularly by Apollo Legend, were made. So that's that, I guess. Except Apollo Legend is getting sued, and he's trying to figure out what he can.
I see.
Yeah, so far we don't know what's going to happen. I guess everyone who raised money is going to get refunded. But other than that, I don't know. Let's see, besides that, yesterday was the end of She-Ra. It was the 15th, and the ending was released, and I've not watched it. I've kept up with the show basically every season, but I have not watched the final season yet. already know some of what happens. I think everyone else does too.
Yeah. I haven't really watched the full show. Well, started at least.
Have you started it?
No.
Okay. I thought you said you did, and that would not have taken you as like someone who'd watch it, I guess.
I mostly watched Castlevania.
Yeah, Castlevania is good.
Yeah.
Also
I
getting,
also
yeah,
watched it.
yeah. I mean, people like to roast Netflix a lot, like they have nothing good on the air on Netflix anymore. But I don't know, they've got some good stuff.
Stranger
Yeah.
Only
Things.
real problem they have is like, you know, they only really let new shows last like 2 seasons, pretty much. People aren't binging them, then they cancel them.
It's also
Actually, like She-Ra only lasted 5 seasons. I say only 5 seasons is a lot, but the reason why I say only is because they basically split would have been 1 season into 2 seasons, so they have like these 3 mini seasons going on basically. So I don't know. I think you could basically get into a 2-season format and the show would be done. But I guess modern TV and modern entertainment is kind of predatory. You either sink or you swim.
Basically, yeah.
I wonder why that mindset is so common, because like it isn't only Netflix that does like if people don't binge it, it's not gonna last long.
Yeah. Nickelodeon did this for a very long time. Basically, if a new show that they're going off does not last or does not have the same ratings as their SpongeBob reruns, they cancel it. Which is really stupid because SpongeBob started off like not very successful at all, and if you put SpongeBob versus SpongeBob, like SpongeBob starting off versus SpongeBob now, pretend they're the exact same show and Nickelodeon didn't even notice, would probably cancel SpongeBob.
Yeah. That sounds really silly.
Getting cancelled by yourself is one thing.
But sometimes some networks are willing to accept like anything. Like Sci-Fi, for example, they are the ones who did the Banana Splits movie, which was like cheesy, low-budget horror based on a kids show. That's kind of weird. I mean, like, honestly, there's a lot of low-budget stuff, but at the same time, if they signed me to do a show, I would absolutely do it. I'd love the experience. I think I would bring some new stuff to the table, honestly. As long as, you know, provided I can think of a realistic idea for a show, I guess. Other example is the CW. Everyone knows them for like Arrow, the Arrowverse, Green Arrow, and all that shit, and Flash and stuff. Basically, their shows are kind of infamously low budget and bad, but people watch them anyway for some reason.
I still remember that Barack Obama with Gorilla Grodd.
Gorilla Grodd.
Yeah, Grodd.
Gorilla Grodd went back in time in DC's Legends of Tomorrow to kidnap Barack Obama in college.
Yeah.
Actually happened.
Made me chuckle a lot.
Our friends still joke about it.
Yeah, a lot of people do, because that scene was legendary. Make America Grodd again. I think
Maybe that'll be the title of this new episode.
Yes.
I mean, I don't think you can make America Galaxy brained, because clearly there's
That'd
not
be-
enough capacity in a single country for a galaxy, but
That'd be nice. But
yeah.
yeah, another TV related thing in the news is the Blacklist. They had their newest season finale, but since quarantine was approaching their filming dates, some scenes they had to do this really choppy computer animation for the scenes. In cases it looks like it's a stylistic choice, but in other scenes it just looks like it's really choppy and ugly. I mean, I guess that's a part of American history now.
Yeah.
Kind of how a pandemic ruined some art, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Before the podcast, I was like trying to draw something nice. Oh, sorry. I'm just eating ice
Draw
cream right
porn.
now, so I sound like a fucking drunkard.
Alright.
Guess here's a little sneak peek of what I'm drawing.
It's porn.
Yes, it is, but you know,
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm pretty proud of this one because it has nice
Good better
poses.
be.
Yeah,
Base it on your Pixiv.
actually, I don't know if posting that on my Pixel would be a good idea or not. But I mean, people post anything there, and mostly porn too. So
A Pixiv is basically just a porn site. No one
Yeah.
should deny that.
yeah, it has some elements of DeviantArt, like the really weird breeds of community members. Okay,
Sometimes, but they're way easier to ignore.
yeah.
Honestly, in that way, it's way better than.
But then they don't really have groups. Like I think them.
Unfortunately, you need like a premium membership to like mute people, to mute more than one person,
Genius.
like mute more than one tag, which is terrible. That's honestly awful.
I don't know what kind of website doesn't let you mute more than one thing, but
DeviantArt sort of did the same thing with core membership. Basically, what
Fucking
used to be like a normal function that everyone was allowed to use was limited to like a few users who had core membership. I guess.
I didn't know that they like moved it to the core membership because like I don't know if it was something new, then it could be somewhat reasonable to lock it behind a paywall, as dumb as
Some
it
of them,
sounds.
some of the functions are new. Some of them, not all.
You see, I never really understood the point of like premium or core memberships in some websites because the advantages they give you are negligible and should be offered like with the base site. Meanwhile, I don't really know why you'd spend money on this or like on Nitro. Well, you can upload marginally bigger files to a server or have animated avatars.
That's very limited use.
I don't know if like the website offered something more, like I don't know, a
Should
personal
try and make
file
it
storage.
and make it more affordable, maybe, and add some more benefits.
Like I don't know, DeviantArt has like a free file storage like called Stash that will probably be deleted soon because of Eclipse, but it was like it's one of the things that makes DeviantArt nice to use because you can like store the files you want to upload there. Like I don't know, whatever poem you wrote or something is very useful, and you can keep other stuff there too that you don't want to submit. So like that's cool.
I guess think that's basically all of my news. But besides that, I also got yeah, I've been non-stop watching videos from The Onion because they keep getting recommended to me.
I don't
Some of
doubt.
them are
Same
pretty.
here.
Some of them are pretty fire.
I don't know why they get recommended to me. I just watched only one video. Maybe two, actually. Yeah, two. Oh, that's why.
Sometimes,
Okay.
sometimes with these satire sites, the funniest part is just like the headline, and it's like, oh, it becomes diminishing returns once you look at their actual articles or watch the video. But sometimes they're good. Other times, like the joke is not any farther than the headline. Those usually aren't that good. There were a few that I wanted to link to some people, but I decided not to because like they got a little bit too edgy and started including like slurs and stuff, so I didn't bother.
No, slurs. And, like, for what reason?
It's because one of them I still think it's funny, so you can go and find it yourself if you're interested. It's like I believe it's prostitutes or gay prostitutes are getting ready for higher income during Republican convention. Yeah, basically closeted gay Republicans are going to be paying them and whatnot.
Yeah,
It's the joke, but under like the umbrella of gay, The Onion included like trans people, and they used a few trans slurs, so decided not to link that around.
Yeah, that sucks, but I hope that, like, I don't know, did they apologize for that or something?
Well, it was 2012, and I mean, I don't think there was a vocal trans community yet that was actually like gave a shit about that. Back then, the trans community that was around was like way more flamboyant and proud, so they didn't care what other people said. They just took it.
Oh, they were like, now, yeah, you call us that, whatever.
Yeah, basically,
we are that.
You get the idea. And it's sort of it's the same for a lot of other communities, or communities that would be considered the other, is that they sort of try to embrace what it's used against them, but like as the community grows bigger and there's more solidarity, they decide to stop using what's been used to oppress them. That's cool. 2012, I guess.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I didn't really know that that's how it really grows. Because, like, I knew there was, like, this weird point. It was not really a point, more like a time, a period where, like, it was normal, I guess, to talk about those people like that. I don't know how to say it. It's more like in the public, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, so what just happened was a lamp just fell down spontaneously.
Yeah, it's the Holy Spirits.
Scary.
I don't know how, but like, okay, so it has this like concrete looking foundation below it, right?
Yeah.
Somehow, or that thing is hidden beneath like this freaking hidden beneath a lid of sorts.
Yeah.
And somehow that foundation got like chopped in half, which is why it fell over. It was able to stand while only half of its foundation remained, but it just fell right now. I don't understand how any of that works, but I guess God just told it to fall just right now.
Don't fall.
Fucking lamps. I don't know why people need lamps when they have fucking light bulbs on the ceiling. Like, okay.
Sometimes there are no proper lights, or they're too dim.
Then
can't take brighter bulbs.
Yeah, get a better bright bulb.
But newer bulbs that are brighter aren't always compatible.
Well, fuck These bulbs, then. Become a fucking engineer. Fix your goddamn electricity output.
I'm an
Maybe the
engineer.
layout of the home only like illuminates a certain area, while other areas are not illuminated.
Well, that's just the fault of the building designer. And yo, you stupid furniture hoarding dumbass, I guess. I don't know. Like, have a light in the center of the room. How do you fuck that up? Why am I being so inconsiderate now?
Are you?
I don't know. You tell me.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is a Sunday, which also means it's the premiere of a new death battle. Iklon versus Danny.
Yeah.
Got that into it. Which Hartman recognized it and stuff and did his thing. Some
Yeah.
fan art.
Oh,
And some quiet agreement from Nano.
Yeah.
Nano generally has been quietly agreeing with us for a while now.
Yeah. Sorry.
I
Mostly not really
there's-
talkative about stuff.
I mean, it's okay, but you know, you can say something anytime you want. Just saying.
Ooh.
Nobody's
I
holding
see.
you back.
Hmm.
Like, I just saw that fan art, and I'm kind of confused. Is this what, like, the reception... Is this what, like, the attention that original creators can bring to shows that somehow endorse them?
I guess.
I think maybe.
Don't know if Butch Hartman paying attention to it is going to have any effect on it. Apparently, he's wanted Danny in Death Battle for a while, but I don't think that makes any sense to me, considering he cares about family-friendly Christian values, and I do not think two teenage boys murdering each other is family-friendly Christian values.
Yeah.
Then again, maybe it is, because I was just watching some videos about the fucked up verses in the Bible, so I don't know, maybe it is.
You know,
I mean, we did have Ben 10 die brutally.
Yeah.
I mean, that's Death Battle for you. They always have to end it with death. That's in the title. I think it's kind of limiting sometimes.
I think in the case of like Owls versus Static, they decided to leave the death very vague. Say probably to make people think it's not even a death. Which, I mean, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It would be fun if there was like a show around that like just excluded the death element altogether, so that characters wouldn't act out of character in it. There's a lot of these like battles that I've heard of that there's just characters that would never kill anybody murdering each other, and it's not very fitting. But I understand why that's happening, and I can't really blame the directors of the show for doing that because that's in the title.
Some shows are basically doing that. Once 1 Minute Melee got away from Screw Attack, they basically just did that the entire time. Don't know if I can even name a single 1 Minute Melee that ended in death recently. That's probably because I basically don't remember them at all.
Because you don't watch them.
Other than that, I think the only other topic I had prepared was something that Anna wouldn't know anything about, but basically, this is actually basically a new announcement that no one would know about except for Avion. I've released Galactus versus Unicron.
Oh,
so that's going to be up on my WordPress, which I also have not linked yet, because that's also not public to anyone except for Avion.
You need to edit its layout, you know. It's gonna look great if you put your mind into the design.
Basically, my design for my website is super basic. It does have the Galaxy Brain podcast on it. Actually, the entire playlist is there.
And also, like,
It's only on the main page. Basically, just took out parts of the design, in layout that I can't use. So it's a pretty simple website. All it is just a main page, a blog, and a contact page, or rather an about page.
You can edit it
Also
pretty
has-
easily, you know. Like, I tried to
I mean,
edit
I
it for my
can.
comic, and it worked pretty well, actually. I could set up a gallery item for images.
I think I just have everything I need. All I need is like the blog and maybe like the playlist and my about page, and that's about it. Got all of those.
I wonder what the file size limit is, though, because I didn't check that out.
I think you're not able to upload anything except for images unless you have a premium account or something.
Oh, no, I
To
meant for like
actually
in
pay.
gigabytes. Because I upload only images.
Now, would they even have a file size limit in that case?
Well, I don't know. I mean, Stash has a limit for files in general.
In terms of images, I guess there's 3 gigabytes for their limit, but I mean, I think you're able to copy paste like as many images as you want. That's basically what I did. I did not upload a single image to the site. I just copy pasted everything and it worked out fine.
Yeah,
Well, where from?
I did the same thing too.
Okay, but where from?
From Discord.
Yeah.
Really? I guess I'll have to do that too.
I guess this is basically secretly an advertisement for WordPress.
They don't need an advertisement, to be honest. At this point, whatever we advertise is just more popular than us, you know?
Yeah. And WordPress didn't need the advertisement anyway, because by their own statistics, they're like 33% of the internet.
That's,
Something ridiculous like that.
yeah, and it's like like the site engine, I guess. It's not the layout itself; it's the site engine.
They're the ones with the monopoly, basically.
Yeah, and I mean, you see these WordPress style websites everywhere. So, like, yeah, with the menu that you scroll down the, like, I don't know, the website, and it lists features of a, I don't know, vibrating dildo or something. Light.
Thank you for
quick,
sharing.
easy.
Other than that, I think that's basically all I had on the menu. Oh, you kids can talk.
Okay.
Oh. Okay.
But I'm not a kid. I'm an barely adult. Just give me a second, okay? You can talk, babies. I'm gonna leave for a second.
Yeah, we used to, for this podcast, we used to advertise free Steam games a lot, but every single new Steam game that comes out is free for a limited time, always is free before this podcast, and after this podcast is already up, so I can't really advertise for new games anymore.
So, in my YouTube channel, I basically started making one video, and it's mostly.
Oh yeah. You're a voice actor. Okay, that's something I wanted to bring up too.
What's
It
going on?
reminded me. Nano's beginning voice actor.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring up how every single one of our guests has something remarkable about them, even if they don't know it. And in this case,
Yeah.
Nano is a voice actor, so I'm going to link him in the description as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
He's pretty good, I guess. I mean, I guess he
Yes.
needs a little bit more practice, but I'm not gonna fucking criticize him here. He's doing a good job.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
I definitely
might-
need some improvement.
Yeah, and what's a better way to improve than to chill my comic?
Yeah.
We both need that.
Yeah.
I am giving you a non-exclusive, actually exclusive because it's only you getting that permit, to
hmm
a voice act for me, as if that actually matters, that I'm a person with power. Oh, fuck.
No can voice Nimi.
He can voice everybody, actually. I can't hire anybody else. So he'll have to adapt his voice range to every single character. Yoka's squeechy voice, Shenta's fucking
Actually, nah, Nimi has like a deep baritone Samuel L. Jackson voice, so you all know.
It's gonna be like all the way, like a fucking pendulum.
The lowest note, I believe, was scaled on a keyboard 54 octaves below middle C or something, and it was from a black hole.
How did they get a black hole sound on a keyboard?
I don't know. It depends on how, I guess, you shift the black hole noise on what it would sound like in a vacuum, except if black hole was in a vacuum, it would absorb our fucking air.
Yeah, it
Die,
absorbs everything. Black holes shouldn't even
basically,
be called holes.
I guess the logic is that basically we are assuming we're in a controlled environment where it won't absorb anything and we are able to observe its sound. So that's usually where those what a black hole sounds like videos come from. That one where a black hole sounds like a drippy faucet or a wacky cartoon sound effect of like, I don't know, a rabbit escaping a wolf or something.
That makes me wonder. Black holes shouldn't they be called black funnels? Actually,
Oh, I don't know. Don't know. That's why they're called singularities, because they're a point in space where we don't know anything beyond them.
yeah. I mean, they're kind
How
of.
would we know if they're actually? How would we know if they're actually funnels of voids of space where you get spaghettified and killed? Like we all think it is.
And then somebody's gonna link as a scientific article and completely destroy everything we said.
Hmm.
Oh,
And to that
maybe in
person,
a few
fuck you
years.
and thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, space is cool, I guess. I like when it's
We've,
colorful.
Well, since I'm basically out of ideas, and so is everyone else here, I guess. If this has gone on for basically 20 minutes, which is basically my minimum.
Sure.
If you're willing to, we can wrap this up if you want.
I mean, I would talk about porn first, but I'd rather talk about space instead. And space is like beautiful and it looks cute. I like when people are very original and invent like their own alien races in space, but that aren't humanoid, because that's cool. Because that's what aliens probably should be, I think. Because we always see humanoid aliens because we can relate to them the most. But we need aliens that aren't humanoid that we can't relate to at all. That would truly be aliens, because I honestly want to fuck some alien pussy, but you see,
Nice.
there's a
Nice.
difference between humanoid alien pussy and anomalous alien pussy. What the fuck?
Oh, so there is a simulator. There's multiple computer simulations where you put the basic rules of evolution and natural selection into a simulator, sandbox simulator, where computers will try to survive generation by generation with a very basic default design. Eventually, natural selection will increase diversity via inherent modification. Basically, just your standard evolution simulator, right?
It's called a neural network.
what ends up happening is just with these basic rules and some basic physics, these computers will eventually make designs that are better than what we have in real life. They're animal designs. More efficient, faster, better.
I mean, probably. That's kind of
I'm
like
basically the reason why I bring that up is I think if someone was able to run a computer simulator like that or just watch the program unfold for themselves, they'd be able to make some of their own alien races off of that.
mm, probably. That's kind of how neural networks work for everything. It's like a big alien generator of sorts. Well, I mean, you can do a neural network for practically anything. There was like people often do like these I coded an AI to do shit, and that's sort of what they use neural networks for, to evolve naturally. Working AI for something, and they take up a lot of your computer resources. So like you kind of have to have a good machine to run something like that for a while. Actually makes me wonder, like we could use neural networks to like develop more sophisticated AIs for video games as whole. The problem is that they would probably take some very advanced inputs. Like, I don't know, for a fighting game, that would be cool. Granted, it would never be the professional player, probably, but, an enemy that you don't really expect to behave in a specific way, that's cool. Like, you know what I
I mean, I
mean.
guess there's similar riddles where a man claims to have an unbeatable AI in chess, and he's beaten every single person. What's the flaw in his logic? Flaw in his logic is obviously that, like, a chess game can end in a win, a loss, or a stalemate. I imagine the same as for a fighting game where you have AI that continues to learn and learn. Basically, they just they have to end the game in a win or a loss, and sometimes a draw. But I don't know many fighting games that have a draw option.
Yeah, there
Those
aren't
draws
many
occur
because.
very rarely.
And if they do, it's kind of stupid anyway, because I don't know, it's a very low chance that it even could occur. But I guess you have to include that in the game. That's why that's why multiplayer games have such weird mechanics, like the first player to join the server gets the kill, or other stuff. It's basically arbitrary logic, but it's needed to be there in case something stupid happens.
Yeah, I guess amiibos sort of do what you're describing. Amiibos for Super Smash Brothers, they have a limit how much they can learn. Once they get to level 50, they basically have already reached their limit. They still continue to learn once they reach level 50, but they only learn certain things. They still can't really get that much better than they already are.
Hmm. Yes, they could
Also, I
use a
guess a
limit break.
part of their amiibo design is that they're already inherently better than a normal CPU in that they can get powered up and basically be super powered, which is unfair to like a human player who does not have double the damage in a single attack or like triple hops or something.
Yeah.
Now that you bring it up, I wonder when is it like when you have video games, they can be either very in favor of the computer or very in favor of the player, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it makes the game easier. But like, it happens a lot, for instance, in RTS games, where like, I guess I've seen that a lot in old RTS games, where like the AI was always very dumb, so they gave them like many cheats, like they can place buildings without any costs. I mean, can't build them for free, you just can place them without any cost or some other shit. But the reason this was done was because the AI would not never match a human player because it was just too bad. And like when you play an RTS game like this, I'm not. I know I'm generalizing very much because I am talking about two very specific RTS games: Warzone 2100 and 2100, yeah, and Machines. And there was this like there are skirmishes, and um, on skirmishes, well, your goal is to. It's kind of like a multiplayer, but with bots, so it's still single player. But basically, there's a certain point in these games where like the AI runs out of resources and you can just fucking do anything you want with it with the enemy because their build orders are too sophisticated for their for what they are capable of at the moment. Like they have too little resources to commence what has been programmed, and that's a kind of a giant design flaw. But they still can see everything on the map, and then unlike the player, it's kind of upset by that.
Similar problem is with trading card games being put into video games. Since they're meant to be multiplayer games with an actual human player, CPU in a sort of campaign mode is very unfair both to the CPU and to the player in a way.
Oh,
As a player in like your standard story mode for a video game, it's to consistently win like all the time. You need to
yeah,
keep winning and winning. But the point of a card game where decks are random or they're randomly shuffled and whatnot is that you will not keep winning
yeah,
because there's supposed to be an element of either luck or strategy, but and the CPUs are so dumb that they're given like some leeway where they're basically able to cheat. An example would be a lot of old Yu-Gi-Oh card game video games had opponents with decks that cheated. So, for example, you could see opponents run 3 copies of Exodia. So, once you get all 5 pieces of Exodia in your hand, you win the game. Oh, I thought that, like, well, Exodia is limited to 1 copy per deck per piece, so if I just destroy 1 piece in their hand, then they can't win. The thing is that CPU is a dirty, cheating bastard, and decided I'm going to have multiple copies. So they're able to, like, both retrieve their copies from, like, the graveyard, and they're banished, so you basically can't find an easy way to cheat them out and win, like a normal player would.
it's an amazing deck though. You can just fucking spam Exodias. The problem is when you
Once,
don't get the part you
sometimes,
need.
sometimes the forbidden or limited cards that the CPU will run multiple copies of, despite that being, legal in the actual game. Sometimes it's actually to their disadvantage that they run so many, because they'll have like 3 copies of like Aigeki or Dark Hole or something. They'll like draw into multiple of those when they don't need them. Their disadvantage
Yeah, that's pretty
is
much.
they don't have the monsters or the actual cards that they need to have. They just have these destructive cards. So when the dust is settled after they've destroyed your monsters a million times, who are the only one with resources to spare? You eventually win. Battle of attrition.
Yeah, basically, I kind of like card games from that aspect because, as you said, it's always possible to lose and win, depending on the random situations that happen, which is like having a wrong card hand dealt to you that you are unable to do anything with. It's interesting, but and it's not fair, but I think that's what makes card games what they truly are. Because like you don't see games that are this much influenced by RNG. I don't know, tabletop games, yeah, they kind of are tabletop RPGs, I mean, they kind of are influenced by RNG because that's the main mechanic. You roll for everything. But the decisions you make are completely dependent on you, and you just roll to see if they're successful or not. Or I don't know, FPS games have have much less RNG, for example, where it doesn't even matter to the core gameplay. I mean, it does, but if you excluded RNG from FPS game, it would be completely fine.
I think the example that I was using was it was in particular kind of boring because there would eventually only be like certain types of decks you'd face, and they all used the same basic cards, so duels ended up feeling the same. Sometimes I couldn't tell who I was dueling because even though you're dueling these specific characters that are supposed to have specific attributes and stuff, they're supposed to be charming in a certain way, they act a certain way. It's kind of hard to tell who you're dueling sometimes when there's no dialogue in the game at all. There's just some character portraits. The character portraits never show up in the duel, so you're basically just dueling a faceless nobody. I mean, it's like, I don't know, game lacks a bit of a soul. Maybe I'll talk about that in some video sometime. At the same time, a lot of duels just go the same way. Other than that, I think we can wrap this up.
Okay.
I mean, we could, sure. I don't see why not.
Yeah.
Right, so I'm gonna be plugging Nano and Avion stuff in the description as always, as well as some other people that we sponsor, and Galactus versus Unicron. So
we don't have any money.
Say your prayers. Good night. Bye.
Bye.